Hey guys, so you haven't heard from me in a very long time. I have been focused more on music and art and kind of those passions of mine that I enjoy a little bit more than cooking and stuff like that, but I still want to do some cooking videos and some vlogs like today. So there'll be like a lot of random content on this channel, but if you're into food, which like who isn't, and wellness and music, then this channel will still be relevant to you, hopefully. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoy the future content, and today I'm going to speak about something really important to me and important to a lot of people, I think, especially artists and yeah, especially, well, pretty much anyone actually. There's the stats for mental health and mental disorders are like ridiculous, so I think like it'll be relevant to a lot of people. But today I want to speak about how I overcame depression, and I wouldn't say that I'm 100% better and I'm never going to suffer depression ever again, or that like every day is perfect for me and that everything is like hunky-dory all the time, because obviously that is not realistic. But I went from being depressed 9 out of 10 days to now maybe like 1 or 2 out of 10 days, which is a huge win, and I'm really proud and happy about it. And I can honestly say that like most days I wake up and I'm in a good mood and things are good and happy and our house is happy and I just laugh a lot and things are like really good. So I wanted to share some of the things that took me from a really bad place, which I'm sure a lot of you can relate to being like this and being so happy and grateful and just, you know, a lot better than I was before. So I'll take you through some of those things now. So before I start with the kind of coping mechanisms or methods that I used, I just want to say that it is like a personal journey, and I think everybody's different things are like very personal to them and will require different things to solve yourself and your issues. And also hugely important is that I am in no way a professional or doctor or anything like that, and I think that you should always seek medical attention if you have the capacity to. But I know like a lot of people, especially in South Africa, this isn't necessarily realistic because of how expensive medical treatment is, and a lot of us have to become self-helpers, which is why this is so important. So some of the things that helped me was I obviously went to therapy, which is hugely important, and I would recommend it to everybody. I know, like I said, that not everybody has the like funds to do this. For me, I am very grateful and lucky enough to have medical aid. So a lot of people don't know this, but if you have medical aid in South Africa, you get this thing called prescribed minimum benefits, which is basically cover for chronic illness. And I'm not sure if it's all things are covered, like all medical aids cover this, but if you have a like not a hospital plan but like an actual medical aid with funds and everything, you should be able to get prescribed minimum benefits, which are for chronic illnesses. So if you go to your therapist and you are diagnosed with depression, anxiety, bipolar, personality disorder, whatever it is, those are chronic illnesses, and you should be able to get at least 12 sessions free per year, which is really helpful, and a lot of people don't know about it. So if you have medical aid and you don't want to pay for therapy, that is an option and something to look into. It's really helpful to me, especially. So therapy is really important, and I think I have to mention that it can be really difficult at first if you have depression to go into therapy. And for therapy, I found for myself personally that it had to get a lot worse before it got better. So I think like for myself, a lot of things that I had happen to me or things that were bothering me, I kind of didn't want to think about it, I was in denial in a way. So it can be really difficult to now go to therapy and bring up all these things and kind of have to talk about these things, especially if you don't like talking, like me, even though surprisingly I do YouTube videos. But yeah, so it can get worse before it gets better, but it does get better. And if it's really bad at first, just remember that you are on a journey, and it does take a long time sometimes to get better, but you are getting there, and not to lose hope, because yeah, and also I had to cycle through some therapists before I found the right one for me. So I think it's really important to find someone that you feel comfortable with and that you trust. But just don't give up if the first person that you go to isn't suitable for you. Just be honest and say, it isn't really working for me. Can I try somebody else? And if they're a good therapist, they'll obviously understand. So I went through 4 therapists before I like found one that was really suitable to me and really understood me and made me feel comfortable and helped me do the work. So yeah, that's definitely tip number 1. Tip number 2 is also quite an obvious one, but I think, and this is also a personal decision because a lot of people are against this and pro this, and I think it's definitely up to the person to decide if it's for them or not. So for me, I went on antidepressants and they were amazing. So this is also, and I'm sorry if this is not going to be good news for you if you're trying to find relief like soon, but it also is one of those things that gets worse before it gets better. So I was put on antidepressants, and for the first 2 to 3 weeks, I would say, were like hell for me. It was like my anxiety got worse, my depression got worse. I just felt like so out of place and so on edge all the time. But it is because you're adjusting to it, so your serotonin levels have to like balance out, and so it can get a lot worse before it gets better. But just hang in there, and the worst thing you can do is start taking meds and then suddenly like cut off from them, because you have to wean yourself off of those. So yeah, just stick through it and hopefully you have a support system to help you through it and to remind you that it's just the meds that are making you feel that way and the world isn't falling apart and that things are going to get better. So antidepressants are definitely up there on the list, but not for everybody. So it is a personal decision, and I would never like pressure you into doing anything like that. Nobody should, in my opinion, but definitely helped me. So the next thing, and actually I've realized a theme here, is that things get worse before they get better, and I think I'm going to say that all the time unless I just say, but that's like the theme here. So just remember to hang in there if like things aren't working out so brilliantly for you, that it takes time. And another one of those things is journaling. So I started doing mood journals and kind of just writing down my thoughts and feelings, and I would do like color in a different block for the different day and how I'm feeling. And I think that's really important, especially when you start going to therapy, if you do go to therapy, because then you can say like, I really battled during this week, and maybe you can write a few notes about what happened during that week, and you can get some insights into what it is that is like making you feel this way. I think that's really important. And then I also just would write down like whatever I was feeling. And the reason I say it gets worse before it gets better in this instance is because when I was really not in a good place, all of my, sorry for the background noise, all of my journals were kind of negative, obviously, because that's how my thought processes were at that stage. So everything I wrote was just bad towards either myself or like the situation I was in. Nothing was going to get better. And afterwards I would sometimes feel a lot worse from journaling. And I think that's completely normal because that's how I was feeling at the time. And I was in a stage where I was like, is this actually helping me get better? Because if I'm feeling worse and worse by doing it, how is this helping me? And I think it's like it helped me at the time because once you put something down on paper, you kind of are able to release it from yourself. It's not sitting here anymore, it's now sitting there, if you know what I mean. So it's a case of like just letting it out a little bit. Also, if you're in a space where you're not feeling particularly valued or of value, and you're feeling like you're kind of useless or nothing you do matters, which is like common thoughts during depression, that you know you're not of value and no one would even notice if you weren't around, that kind of stuff, then writing stuff down and having a journal can kind of make you feel like you have some purpose, and like that even if it's just for you or for whoever reads one day, hopefully, if some people don't want anyone to read it, that's okay, but it gives you some sort of value, like everything I'm doing isn't meaningless, it has meaning, and I'm putting it here to have meaning, you know what I mean? So there was a lot of mean there. But I hope that makes sense. So another thing that's really important to recovery in general is support. And if you already have people in your life, and you're fortunate enough to have those that love you around you, then maybe just let them know that you're going through something. You don't have to give exact details, but just so that they can be a little bit kinder towards you or give you the support that you need, maybe help as much as they can, and I think that's really, really important. Another thing that was really important for me, specifically, and it might be important to you as well, was that I am naturally introverted, which is perfectly fine, and I enjoy, being by myself a lot, reading and kind of painting and being artistic and being in my own little bubble, which is awesome. But it also means that I have less of a support system than most people would, like especially back then when I had these hard times. I wouldn't have a lot of friends to be like, I'm struggling, or what do you think about this, or just bounce opinions with, or even just share what I'm going through and they can share what they're going through as well. I didn't have much of that. So during my recovery, I made a lot of friends and reached out to a lot of people, and this can be quite frustrating for introverts. And I think it's important to remember, if you are an introvert, if you want to get like more support, to always give yourself a little bit of space as well and find that balance. That was really, really helpful to me. Being an introvert doesn't mean that you can't have friends. It just means that you need to know when your brain needs a rest from socializing and when you need to just be by yourself, and that's fine. But doesn't mean that you can't have friends at all. So just don't get disheartened if some people don't respond the way that you want them to. It is a give and take, and some people are nicer than others, unfortunately. But reach out to people that you want to make friends with. Be nice and just start conversations. A lot of people are looking to make friends too, and this will really help you to realize that you're not a burden, and you are special, and you are worthy, and you deserve love. And hopefully you'll find people that will show you that in yourself, and maybe you can help show other people that they're worthy of love and show them support as well, and kind of helps everybody along the way. And just remember that even if someone doesn't respond to you nicely, it doesn't matter. Like, you tried with them and that's cool. Then just move on to somebody else that you maybe want to make friends with. You know what I mean? So that really, really helps. It can be very scary, trust me. But since doing this, I've made a whole bunch of new friends that I'm really, really grateful to have in my life, and that have really helped me and made me realize that I'm not a burden, and that I am worthy and funny and special, and that I shouldn't be so hard on myself, and hopefully that'll help you too. Another thing that really, really helped me was having some sort of creative outlet, because I am quite a creative person. If creativity is not your thing, then maybe just any outlet, like running or sport or whatever it may be. Just as long as you have a way of expressing yourself, I think it's really, really important. So for me, it's playing music, playing guitar, being in bands, just being able to express myself with others, connect with others, paint, just all the things. So that's really what has helped me, and it's so nice to be able to use something creative, like use something that's causing me hassle or pain as like something that's gonna connect me with other people. It's such an incredible experience to have. Yeah, I think, like, oddly enough, when I was depressed and going through like a lot of issues, I kind of felt like getting better would mean that I'd be giving up my creativity, because I was also quite creative when I was depressed, and I kind of felt like I wouldn't write as well, like I wouldn't write songs as well, and I wouldn't paint as well if I was happy, and that's just really not true. Now that I am happier and a lot healthier, I still write way better songs than I ever have before, and still paint just as well as I did before. So your brain is weird, and sometimes, well, for me especially, it would trick me into thinking that I need to be depressed, or I need to have an eating disorder, I need to have these things, and you really don't. And it is so much better not to have those things in your life. And as much as your brain tries to convince you that the eating disorder helps you feel better about yourself, for example, it really doesn't. And when I had an eating disorder, I've never felt worse about myself in my life than I did at that stage. And now that I'm like better, and not completely cured, but a lot better, I feel so much better about myself, and I've never felt more confident in myself. So that's just a lie. So yeah, the last thing that and for depression as well, your brain will try to trick you into thinking that this is just how you are, you're just this normal, like you're just a sad person, that's just how it is, and that's not true. And everybody can get better, everyone can heal, everyone can become a happier version of themselves. The last thing I wanted to mention that really helped me was finding purpose. A lot of my depression came from not feeling like I had a reason to be alive, or not feeling like I had much purpose in the world. And I kind of felt like, why not just create my own? And I think that really helped me. So for me, it was kind of helping save more animals, working in a vegan company. It doesn't have to be what it is for you, of course, but that was just, now every day I wake up knowing that I'm contributing to something good, and I feel really good about myself, and that really helps make bad days a bit brighter. So whatever your purpose is, try find it, and find what brings your soul to life and what sparks your happiness, and keep doing it. So yeah, those are just some of the tips I have. I don't have a lot of time, obviously not everyone wants to watch an hour YouTube video. Let me know if you have any other suggestions and leave them in the comments. Obviously I can't go into detail about specific things like suicidal thoughts or eating disorders and all that kind of stuff that comes with it, but I just wanted to give an overview of how I got better, and I hope that you guys are feeling good too, and that you enjoyed the video. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Bye!